Hello everyone. I have a fun card to share with you today. I'm going to be making a vellum envelope with the envelope punch board. Plus, I have some really fun products that I'm going to be sharing with you from Buttons Galore. But if you haven't already, follow me across social media. Those links are going to be down in the description box below. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe by hitting that button down there too. And if you enjoy this video, the like button always helps and it is much appreciated. So I'm going to use the envelope punch board to create my envelope here. I'm also doing a square card today, so this thing is kind of a lifesaver for me when I do those other types of cards. I don't have the space to store a ton of envelopes, so having this on hand really helps me create my own. So I went ahead and followed the directions. I'm cutting my piece of vellum down to the specifications that it said on the envelope punch board. So this is 5 1/4 that I'm cutting first, and then I'll go ahead and line it up one more time here at 5 1/4 and cut my little square. Now you want to go ahead and first look at your envelope punch board, the little guide there on the bottom, see what size your paper needs to be, and then go ahead and cut it. Now once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and look at the little guide again, see where I need to line it up, which in this case it was at 2 and I believe 5/8, I believe it was, and then I'll go ahead and give that a punch and a score with my bone folder. Then once that first one's done, all you need to go ahead and do is line up where you put your score line with the little piece that is sticking out on the bottom there, that little blue notch. I can go ahead and give it a punch, score it on the line, and then turn it around and do it all again until I have all 4 sides scored and punched. So this will be my last one. So I'll give it a nice little punch after I line it up, score it, and it should meet right in the corner of the first one that I did. Now you can also go ahead and turn this over and right on the back, insert your points on your envelope, and that's going to round them off. I like to do this because, to be quite honest, especially on vellum, those points can get a little sharp and they can cut. So I like to just go ahead and smooth those things out. So I gave those all a good punch, and it's time to start folding. Now on each one of those score lines, I'm just going to take the little flap, fold it up, and then give it a good press with that bone folder. I'm using the one that came in the set. You don't have to use that. You could use your Teflon bone folder if you wanted to, but this one works just fine for me. I'll go ahead and fold in the left and right side as well. Again, folding those in and then giving it a good press with the bone folder to make sure those creases are nice and tight. The final thing you need to do is go ahead and add some adhesive onto that envelope to make it stay together. You want to make sure you're using a nice strong adhesive, and I'm using double-sided paper adhesive because this is the adhesive I had on hand that is going to at least show through that vellum. Liquid adhesive, I never have good luck with on vellum, so this is what I like to use. If you have an adhesive that is invisible on vellum, by all means use that. So I fold in my 2 sides, and then I like to fold up the bottom and glue it together that way. That way no adhesive is on the inside of the envelope. You can still see it a little bit, but it's much less noticeable than if I was using a liquid adhesive. Now for my background, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of ink blending. I am using this 6x6 stencil from the Crafters Workshop. It is called Script Dots, and I like to just tape this down from the back side. I like to cut my cardstock to size, the exact size that I'm using, and then tape it down from the back. That way I don't have to have any extra little pieces that I have to hang on to and then cut my cardstock down afterwards. I like to just do it in one go, tape it down to the back, and I'm good to go. For my ink blending, I am using this Brilliance ink pad, and this is in the pearlescent coral color. This is stunning. I mean, it is shimmery on its own. You do not need to add anything to it. It ink blends beautifully, and I'm going to go ahead and use those makeup brushes that I've been loving on so much. I'll go ahead and quickly blend this through the stencil. I thought about going darker on the outside and then kind of lightening it up towards the inside, but I decided to go pretty hard with this pearlescent color because I love the shine of it so much. So I'm just going to go throughout the whole stencil and just really go heavy with it. Now, if you're doing this, you could by all means use a little finger dauber or a makeup sponge to put this on with. I just happened to was thinking I was going to do some ink blending, but I love the look of this so much. I just put it on very, very heavily throughout the entire stencil. So once that was on there, it's time to go ahead and take off the top of that stencil, which is always the fun part. And like I said before, this ink does not have anything over the top of it. This is just how it looks. So once I take the stencil off, you're going to see this gorgeous sheen, and just it's so stunning. I absolutely love the look of it. You can see when it catches in the light, you get that nice white kind of shift to it. It's just stunning. So once I had that on the background, it's time to start filling up my little envelope. So I cut a piece of pink cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little stamping on that. I have this stamp set from Joy Claire Stamps, and it has this great I love you. It has I love you in all different languages. I just chose the one that's in English that says I love you because that's the one I know how to say. And the other ones, if I was doing a video with it and I tried to say them, I would really not get it right. So I went ahead and stamped that with some VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink right on the top of my little pink note card that I cut out. And I'm going to add a little bit more to this to make it more fun. So I cut down some pieces of tissue paper. I have a very light minty blue here, and then some pinks that match that color of cardstock, and I just folded those up to create little points on the top. I did them all different ways, so no one is alike. I'll go ahead and add some adhesive to the bottom of my very back one, so the mint blue, that's the largest. Then on top of that, I added a few little pinks, and then finally I'll add some more adhesive right on top of those pinks, peel up the backing paper off of that, and add in my final layer of mints. Mint blue tissue paper, not mints that you eat. And then I'll go ahead and place that right down, give them a good press. I didn't worry about they were kind of sticking up because I'm going to add more adhesive on the top of that, which will hold everything down in place. And then I'll go ahead and add that to the back of my little note card. I did double adhesive on this, so I knew everything would stick down very nicely. But there I can just kind of press my little pink note card right on top of that, and I've got this great tissue paper that's popping out from the back of it, which I just love so much. And this fits nice and snug inside that vellum envelope. For the little envelope, I wasn't quite done with it. I'm going to start by using this embellishment kit. This is from 28 Lilac Lane. You can buy these at Buttons Galore and more, but this one is called Love Story. It's got all these great little pieces. You've got seed beads, you've got half-back pearls, sequins, charms, ribbons, buttons, but also you have these great felt little hearts. So I'm going to grab both of those out of the kit and tuck those in between some of the pieces of tissue paper that I have on top. I love those poking out the top. Now I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle as well, so I am using these. These are called Sparkletz. These are also from Buttons Galore and more. These are kind of a mix of different things. So you have some like half-back gems in there. You've got X's and O's sequins. You've got hearts. It's just seed beads in there. Whatever you can imagine, it's in there. And these make some great fills for shakers. I'm going to be picking out certain pieces here and there from this mix and adding them to the top of my little note card. But these are great for shaker cards, and they're so beautiful. You can kind of pick out what you want. You can use the whole mix. I love, love, love these. And I'll be using these a lot more in the future, too, on a bunch of my cards. I actually have quite a backlog of shaker cards to share with you. So I'm going to continue to just add little bits and pieces from this mix here and there. So I'll add some of the gems, I'll add some of the hearts, I'm adding some of those sequins, and then I'm going to start gluing everything down. I like to place everything first and then go in and glue it down. I'm using this Nuvo glue just because I know it's going to dry clear and it's going to hold everything in place. Now right underneath that I love you, I added those little X's and O's. I thought that was a great way to finish off the sentiment. I'm also using my Quick Sticks tool to help me pick up these little pieces and glue them down. I find this is a very easy way to put everything down rather than trying to use my fingers, just because a lot of times my fingers get in the way and then I end up getting glue smeared everywhere, so I find this tool really helps. Now once I had all those glued down, or the X's and O's glued down, I continued to go about gluing everything else down. Now those felt hearts, all I did was take some of that same glue that I used on everything else, the Nuvo glue, I applied some to the back and just popped them right into place. These are nice and thick and they're great quality, so the glue isn't going to kind of press through to the front, how it can sometimes do whenever you're using felt die cuts. These are super thick, so they're not going to allow that glue to kind of seep through the front. I tucked those in, applied all the rest of the sequins, and then there is a closer look at that all finished. I absolutely love the shine on the top of that. Those hearts peeking out, the X's and O's underneath the I love you. This was just a great quick way to add a lot of interest to this pretty simple card. Now I kept that tucked in the envelope, and then on the back of the envelope, just where that paper starts and then goes up to the top, I applied some adhesive. So not along the bottom so you couldn't see it. Then I'm going to go ahead and place that down right in the center of my stenciled panel. And then on the back of that stenciled panel, I added more adhesive, and I'll place this down right onto my card base that I made. Now this card base is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches, so a 5.5-inch square, and then my panel itself was 5 inches, 5-inch square. So this is a nice square card, and again, making an envelope for this is super easy with that envelope punch board that I used before. But that's going to finish off the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and a nice look at some of those products that I used as well. I had such a blast making this card. But that is going to do it for me today. There are going to be links that you can click on the left side of your screen if you want to watch more videos from me. You can also subscribe to my channel over there if you haven't already. And don't forget to check down in the description box for all the supplies and everything I used in today's video. Thanks for watching and happy crafting!